Today's video is all about Chainge Finance, beyond trading, beyond DeFi, beyond derivatives, and beyond cross-chain. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a deep dive on Chainge Finance, figuring out whether this project has what it takes to make it into our long-term portfolio in preparation for this bull run. We're going to be looking at some of the fundamentals, the value proposition, the team, and much, much more. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities such as Chainge Finance. Guys, we're going to be doing a deep dive. As I mentioned, we're going to be looking at some of the details behind this project, figuring out whether this project should be included in our portfolio. Does it make the cut? And of course, the only way to really do that is to get fundamentally bullish, know exactly what is happening here with this project. What are they trying to achieve? Are they solving problems to real world issues? And of course, just by what we're reading here on this front page, this landing page, it definitely does give us the indication that they might be in the right direction. Guys, we're going to be using the website as our main platform to navigate this project. Of course, we're at the same time giving us the opportunity to critique the website to see if it does a great job as far as being a gateway into this project, and if we are actually given the information needed in order to make these decisions. Of course, the decision is, should we be scaling in? Of course, we know that we're in a bottom of the range bear market type of thing right now, and a lot of these altcoins are definitely bleeding out and looking at, potentially coming down to lower levels, and this is where we should be looking for DCA opportunities. But the opportunity is not just about DCAing into any project. Of course, we're looking for projects that have good fundamentals. So this is what we're going to be doing here today, guys. Let's begin. Let's take a look at what's happening here with Chainge Finance. Of course, just by this landing page, beyond derivatives, beyond DeFi, beyond this, beyond that, and it all relates to banking. It all relates to all the decentralized banking that we've been looking for. The DeFi narrative is definitely very, prominent right here based on the landing page. So I'm liking it so far. Let's continue. We have explore your very own home of DeFi powered by cross-chain magic. So guys, what they really want to do is bring all of the different chains together to bring one platform into effect where we can basically start trading like a DEX. Of course, it is a DEX. There's a DEX component to this, and have all of the tokens on major exchange, on major chains available under almost like basically almost bringing them all together. It really is interesting. With 75 integrated chains and counting, the app supports over 4,000 assets. So this is a good thing. It's like an aggregator. It is an aggregator. It brings a lot of the tokens that we want to trade into a DeFi or a DEX platform. Guys, this is really, really good. And you guys know, if you've been following me here on the channel, these are one of the things that I'm looking forward to, is to see how or what happens to next phase of the DeFi narrative, particularly with the DEXs. I've been very, vocal about the fact that right now we do have an issue. And one of the issues are the websites. The websites need to kind of be removed from the equation. The domains in itself, for a lot of these DEXs, what happens is that they become very centralized. They are centralized because websites at the end of the day need to be registered by an individual, a business, and that makes it very centralized. Now, what about if we can pull that apart? Now, I'm curious as to what Chainge Finance has to offer with regards to this issue. That is one of the biggest issues, and of course, if Chainge Finance can bring us a solution to that problem, we're actually stepping away from the multitude of different DeFi applications that exist right now, and finding a value proposition that is like no other. So we're trying to see, and I'm looking for a project that is directly spearheading that issue. So far, so good. It is an aggregator. As we can see, it's one of the aspects of this project is an aggregator. And what I like about this website is that it does have a lot of videos going on. Now, I'm going to keep in mind, guys, that there is another website for Chainge Finance, which it's the older website. And I'm going to, kind of let you know just in advance, the older website, in fact, has a lot more information. Now, it could be that this website, which is the newer one, it actually looks nice and fresh and new. Okay, a lot more. The design is a little bit, cleaner and fresher and more up to date, but the information available is not there. So we're going to have to get into the older one, which is unfortunate. it. It kind of, makes a bit of confusion happening there, but nonetheless, the information is there. These are some of the chains that are available. Of course, you can recognize a few of them, Ethereum being the major one here, and their own Fusion, and we'll talk about Fusion in a minute. We have AVAX and Binance, of course, and Phantom, and so many others here that we can quickly recognize. But at the end of the day, this is what it wants to do, is aggregate all those chains together and offer the trading of all the assets cross-chain. So one of the value propositions there for sure. Designed for the people like you, engineered for opportunities you need. What I really like about this concept is they're trying to bring all of the financial services that traditional banks offer into crypto, number one, and number two, putting them under one roof, basically one application, which is something that we really don't have a major leader in right now as far as the narrative goes. And while I was doing this research, I always kept in mind, like, which project right now is really spearheading this concept of being the bank of crypto, right? So obviously, Chainge Finance has a bit of work to do. They're still in that kind of like a rollout phase for it to be fully fledged, but they do have their decks. They do have a few services already available. And of course, we're going to be talking about where they're going with this and what still needs to be released and all that kind of stuff. But the overall objective is thinking about a project right now that is still in the works, right? Still, young. And where could this end up going? So that's the way you kind of get into the market nice and early and grow. Your portfolio will grow alongside Chainge Finance if everything goes well for the project. Chainge overwhelming objective is and will remain improving people's quality of life. Of course, quality of life gets improved with our financial life, and that's a very important thing that a lot of us are learning, especially nowadays. Nowadays our economy showing us that economics is much more than just what we have in our bank accounts, the way we interact with our funds, our capital. So that's an important thing. Download Chained app. So the app is available from the App Store for Apple and the Play Store, Google Play for Android. So that's ready to go. That seems really interesting. The next generation of DeFi ecosystem powered by Chain Hop, an instant earn 12% API. Guys, don't get too hung up on these APIs, because at the end of the day, we've seen DeFi offer such great APYs. Now 12% is decent, is very, very healthy. And it's on stables, meaning USDT. You can put your USDT into, a locked up state, and we'll talk about that, all those services that it offers in a second. But you get 12%, over 12% APY, which is healthy. Impermanent loss, no impermanent loss, master derivatives, futures, and all the trading, details that we, as traders, especially myself, that we look for in a DEX. All those features are there. Okay, now this is where the website for me kind of seems to be unfinished and unpolished. Okay, so it does kind of get into some of the details of what it is. Set up a secure wallet in an instant. Great, there's a video. And if you go and look at the videos, a lot of the videos seem to be very sensational, which doesn't look good from a marketing perspective for me. I don't like that it looks very stock photo. It looks very unfinancial. You have images of people running through fields of flowers, and when you watch the video, it doesn't really relate to a financial industry. It's almost like appealing to emotion, these videos. So for me, it's like a little bit disjointed, a little bit disconnected, which is a bit problematic from a marketing perspective, right? So set up a secure wallet, which is good. And there's two levels of wallets happening here. One that is for basic, one that is for more confident individuals, let's put it that way. And that's one of the sense of friction, in my opinion, that a lot of crypto right now has, given the fact that some people are not tech savvy. And we're trying to remove that friction, that barrier to entry, by making the whole custody aspect a little bit easier. People, are afraid of making a mistake, afraid of losing their keys, afraid of, so on and so forth, of doing the wrong transaction, or all these little things. It does make things a bit stressful for people that are not tech savvy and comfortable. So what they did create is a way to give you a private wallet, but at the same time kind of share custody in a way, right? They say it's completely secure, and basically they are giving you a password instead of the actual key, and the key is encrypted and all this kind of stuff. They use multi-sig wallets and all the good features to make things safe for those individuals that don't feel comfortable holding their own keys, right? So this is something that a lot of companies, including Ledger was trying to offer earlier on for those individuals that wanted to get a part of crypto and start holding assets but weren't comfortable getting full-fledged into basically holding their own keys and making those types of scenarios. So they even give you a QR code, which is very convenient, where you can scan and interact with others if you wanted to deposit or make payments using those QR codes. And the QR codes basically make life a little bit easier when you want to get into your financial services. When you wanted any financial services, you have that QR code ready available. So you have this QR code, you have your keys, which are standard, which they can issue a wallet and give you the keys, and then you also have a basic level where you give in a password instead of the keys, and they have their security background to get you going and make you feel like the keys are safe, which is great. This is an option, no doubt, an option. Just think about maybe your grandparents or even your parents and themselves. They might like crypto, but they don't want to hold those keys and have that level of complexity. So something to look into. Chain hop with couple of traps. Okay, so taps, which basically means that you can jump around from chain to chain very easily. It is a cross chain. So like I mentioned before, you can get in onto the different networks and basically trade assets among the networks, right? Especially if you're talking about Ethereum, that's an easy case scenario. You have a lot of layer 2s nowadays, Optimism, Arbitrum, Matic, and all these, right, where you can kind of swap around the same tokens chain by chain and get onto the chain that you want very, very easily. So this is something that we multi-chain, of course, and a cross-chain. This is also this is all a part of the major narrative going forward with regards to all these assets. And as we continue, we're noticing that there are a lot, as the chains kind of grow and there's more introduced, you can see that there's a lot more chains to deal with, and an aggregator is exactly what we kind of need to kind of put everything under one roof. Okay, so this is definitely solving an issue to a real world problem here in the crypto land, where you want to get into DeFi, but you don't want to hop on to different dexes over and over and over. So having one place, one-stop shop is actually very useful, more than staking. So let's think about it like this. They're trying to be a bank. Okay, they want to offer a lot of financial services, so it's just more than a long-term savings account. There's other options here where you can put all your assets in one pool, earn a lot of good APY, and all other different little features that make banking useful on a daily basis. It's basically staking on steroids. Okay, so there's a lot of little details here that we can get into, but of course I encourage you guys to look into the details regarding the services that they offer, as this is a deep dive. No doubt we're going to talk about a little bit of everything, but some of the customizable features are definitely unique to your own. So I highly suggest that you look at this into a little bit more detail. And of course, there are other parts of the website that kind of spell things out to us in a little bit more detail as well. Make money while you sleep, of course, the APY and all this, the Chainge DEX LPs. So you can actually, the DEX has a lot of different assets that you can trade, which is, of course, it's flexible and secure. All these little good things that we're looking for with regards to a DEX. Work that exchange trilogy. So basically, we have all exchange, spot, leverage, futures, options, a lot of the things. 100% decentralized derivative market. Learn more, of course. Go check it out. So the DEX concept, offering all kinds of trading features. Now, this is important. This is very important, but this complete 100% decentralization to me needs to be very, very clear. As far as I'm concerned, as long as they're relying on this website or on an application, and if they are able to distribute the application via, especially APK, if you're talking about Android, as a peer-to-peer distribution, okay, that's a little bit better. But we know that Apple won't let that happen very easily. So it's not 100% decentralized. There is a level of dependency based on the URL, which is the website itself, and the distribution of the application. Okay, so this is something that we need to consider, and this is something that I'm actively looking for a solution to that problem. So the complete decentralization of a DEX, there's still a level of centralization. Decentralized escrow services, another traditional banking service service, bringing it into crypto. This is a very hot narrative, trying to bridge those gaps between TradFi and now, of course, crypto. And this is something that, of course, I'm looking forward to see implemented. Now, this is the end of the website. You can see how it kind of ends here very abruptly without much. It looks unfinished and unpolished. In my opinion, not really good. They should have not released this website as it is, because it does look like it just ends, right? That's it, done and done. And I don't like the fact that it has this little scrolling thing here at the bottom. I know you may not be able to see it, but if you visit the website, depending on your aspect ratio of the monitor, it's not adaptive, and it kind of looks unfinished and unpolished. So that's a very unfortunate thing here, guys. When we're looking for a website, we want to see that it was done by professionals. Now, I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that they need to get this thing going in a little bit more with a little bit more polish. Okay, so you can see right up here, they do have the market. They have two links, one that is market and one is go to the old website. I'm going to right click and leave this new one still going, and I'm also going to right click and go check out this market. These are the only two tabs that I see up here, and usually on a typical website we got a lot more options to kind of navigate and see. I don't see any links to white papers, any links to anything that is really that interesting here on this new website, unfortunately. Okay, so if we go quickly into the exchange part, let's say, you can see that there's a lot happening here, a lot of little details. Download the app, okay, global change stats, and a lot of other little features. Now you can search for different trading pairs. We can click this tab, and you can see that there are a lot of different trading pairs from different chains in itself. Okay, what I really found interesting, what I don't like is these broken links. This is not looking good whatsoever. But what I really do like is one aspect, and of course, for those Caspians out there, they have Caspa as a chain, which is not very common for a DEX to have, right? This is one of the things also that I'm hoping Chainge Finance could kind of spearhead as well. And this goes for even being competitive with the centralized exchange. You know, one of the issues is that we're not seeing a lot of these lower cap to mid caps or even micro cap altcoins being listed, particularly the layer ones that are up and coming, right? So we want Caspa, we want Teraxa, we want a lot of these Tau and a lot of these layer ones that have a lot of good features, but they're not available on the DEXs, right? Because they're their own chain. Now, what I'm thinking is perhaps they're saying, well, I'm going to go list this, layer one, and they don't even have an ecosystem with other projects built on it. So what is the actual value proposition? From a perspective of that perspective, I get it. They're going to put a lot of this effort of, integrating this other chain, which has no other projects built on it. I understand that the fixed cost to, put that chain on it's the reward is not even there. It's not really there. I get it. But if you can spearhead that nice and early, you're going to get a lot of mass adoption, because you got to look at the community that are being built at these entry phases. For example, Caspa. So this is a good move. I give them a lot of credit for introducing Caspa, because they for sure they know that the community is very strong, and this is definitely helping the adoption and the awareness of this project. So good to have Caspa. And I would suggest that they continue looking for those lower caps that everybody is talking about right now to bring more awareness to their application here, to their website. So the DEX is looking good. Liquidity pools, of course, if you want to, get involved in liquidity pools, you can definitely get in that. And what else do we have? Different stats here. These are the market. This is the dashboard. I wonder what happens if I click here. Let's see the dashboard. Okay, back to the main website. You can see the main website's pretty cool, just it lacks a lot of features. And then you have the earn. Let's see, back to the main website. Yes, it does. So you can see that other area right here where kind of looks like a DEX. It doesn't look that it looks like it's still very dependent on the new website. So something to consider. Now, what I also want to bring to you is to the old website. The old website has a lot more information. So let's use that one. So you can see already there's a bit of confusion. And one more thing that I want to bring up before I move on to the older website is a lot of the links in between here if you wanted to go look at them, they are links to Medium, which for me doesn't look right. You know, you're relying on a third party, a paid website to actually drive your main site, your basically your main platform. Then this should be considered the main platform, which is the website. All these links go to Medium, every single one. What happened to building your own website and using your own pages that are not relying on a third party? And the third party, mind you, in order to post, it's a paid post type of thing. So it's not really looking good in my aspect and from my perspective. The old website is a totally different ball game. So I'm going to stick with the old one. Unfortunately, we're going to have to stick here. The landing page is still fairly decent, still very clean. Build your own digital banking service. This is what I like to hear, right? This is where you start to look at, you know, what is this all about? The new website doesn't give it to you. Do you still rely on time-consuming, expensive financial services? We fixed the problem. That's exactly what you want to hear. So basically, you can tailor the Chainge account, your Chainge bank account, quote unquote, to kind of get services that are tailored towards you, guys. That's a value proposition in itself. Okay, so financially connect with your loved ones. So again, making it easier to have your financial interactions. You know, they give you a lot of key features to keep your network together and be able to send funds and so on and so forth to one another. One button away, that app, that QR code is just a scan away. You can get their scan, send and tap and transact very easily with that QR code. So I find that to be another good value proposition. And of course, there's all the safety features detailed in the the literature there if you want to go read it. Business automation for trust. So great. Chainge ensures 100% safety for any two entities. So this is good. Is there an insurance happening here? Is there what is going on? Like a traditional banking offers a level of insurance. So this is what we want to see. We want to see a lot of the traditional services and fine print, into these new ones, especially with regards to safety and insurance, right? So this is good. Set yourself free. Let your money do the work. Again, you can get into liquidity pools. You can stake. You can basically earn anywhere, anytime, and it's automated. You can see how chill this lady is right now, just making bank. So that's really good. Something interesting. Now, of course, you're going to deposit some Bitcoin. You're going to get 8.3%, which is pretty good. APY, compounded rate, and you get some rewards. And then if you want to deposit USDT, 16.18, and then you get a $50 bonus, and you get all kinds of little features, guys. Of course, go read in more detail. This deep dive is not going to get into that, but at the end of the day, they do offer a lot of incentive for staking and holding tokens on their network, of course. One application. Let's see, one application for all your daily financial needs. This is the whole the value proposition. Everything you need in one application. Okay, one app on your phone or on your computer. Well, you can trade and have different bank accounts. You can send money. You can receive money. You can do all kinds of stuff, which is something that we all are looking for. And there's definitely a gap in the market where we need these services. Where we are, what should we do? Okay, join and wait. Use your influential power, amplify chain, and deposit to earn. So basically, there's some things that you can do already. Now, I believe that a lot of this website is still outdated. Okay, the references are still connected to the fact that Chainge is not listed on an exchange and that you can't get Chainge tokens anywhere else but participating in these little let's say activities that they got going for you. Well, that's not the case. You can actually get on an exchange, and we'll talk about which exchanges are listing Chainge right now, but you can actually obtain tokens from exchanges as we speak. Okay, so the token distribution is something we're going to talk about, and how the tokens were distributed prior to the launch. It was just based on engagement. They had little tasks, and you would get rewarded for these little tasks, and that was the only way you were going to get tokens. But now that's not the case. You can earn rewards, and you can actually buy them off of the open market right on different exchanges. exchanges, centralized exchanges that exist right now. Okay, so this is interesting, and a little bit of a roadmap that lacks a bit of detail. Unfortunately, you know how adamant I am about, roadmaps. Roadmaps are a good way of getting into the vision of the team, what they are actually trying to achieve, and if there's no dates, there's no accountability, really. Now, I know a lot of projects don't want to give dates because, again, we know that price does fluctuate a lot if they don't meet that deadline, and that's unrealistic as well. In software, things happen. You might have to delay in order for it to make it perfect, and I'm very clear on the fact that a software developer, particularly within a financial aspect, doesn't want to release a piece of software that's not ready to be used for the mainstream market. And in this case, it's better to delay it than to release it. And retail doesn't care about that. At the end of the day, price will fluctuate. Price may come down if they delay a release or an update or anything like that. So I understand the reservation to put dates, but at least put a range or a quarter within like the first or second or third or fourth quarter of the year or something like that, just to give you a little bit of an idea of where this project is going and where they are allocating their human resources currently at the moment. The website is the second vision. And the second version needs quick attention. It's very sloppy. Even the old website, and we're relying on old information to make informed decisions, and it's not even up to date as well. So this is problematic. They need to, spearhead this and get this thing going quickly. And the use case videos are great. I believe that that's a great step in the right direction, is to have a lot of videos explaining exactly, but the productions of those videos, they lack focus. They're just a little bit, it's too sensational for my taste. Obviously, that's my own opinion. If I feel like looking at a commercial for retirement or something like that, or I don't even know, like the overall imagery and the sensation that I'm getting off of them are not in line with finance, and it kind of leads me to believe that it's very tchotchke type of marketing. They need a marketing plan that's a little bit catered towards the objectives here. Okay, so pretty cool though. At least I like the roadmap. A little bit more down below. Onboarding businesses, roll with us. Cool. I like it. Now, typical, nice, bottom section here, the footer, giving us a lot of little links. And what I really like this is this deposit to earn, that's ready to go. Decentralized escrow apparently coming soon. The cross-chain DEX ready to go. Fiat on and off ramp is a necessity, and I'm curious as to how they're going to handle this, given that this could be a choke point. And for those of you that are new to crypto, this is one of the current issues that we are having, is unloading basically fiat onto the crypto platforms, onto the crypto networks. So let's see how they kind of tackle this, and if they can give us some services that are basically solving some problems that we've been having lately with getting our accounts funded. Private keys, social guard, I'm curious about that. No real information just yet. And then of course, different little links here. The Chainge token, if you click this, I don't want to leave this page. Oh, it's perfect. You can see back to Medium, guys. This is problematic. I don't like when websites do this. Stick within your own website. Why Medium? Have a duplicate of this forum. This is a forum or a blog post. Have a duplicate of this information. But at the end of the day, relying on Medium is not good. But you can see that there's a Q&A section, which is very, very useful. However, a lot of this information, in my opinion, seems to be slightly outdated. Okay, so which public blockchain? Guys, we're going to talk about the blockchain for a second here. Chainge is a project that is built on Fusion. It's a network that is directly built for applications for DeFi, and it has a specific characteristics that is necessary for the Chainge token or for the Chainge project. So this for me is something good, because you have both layer 1 and the project being built married together very nicely. Some of the features that you are going to be using will not be available, like the staking aspect and the way it works is not, you can't do it in any other way. So you got to use the Fusion network, which is a custom type of thing. I like that. I like that it has a use case, and that it relies on its layer 1 significantly, right? That for me, that marries up really good. It's not a jack of all trades type of layer 1, which is what I'm interested in, right? I want to know more about it. So of course, if you're like me and you want to know more, there's lots of little links here that you can learn more. In fact, if you visit the Fusion website, you can understand that Fusion, in fact, is a big project. It is a big backed by a team that has lots of experience, and we're going to talk about the team in a second. Okay, so we'll actually kind of scroll through here a little bit more, and then we'll go back to the main website. So Fusion Wallet, they got a lot going on here. Look what's going on here. Fusion, Chainlink, these are all integration, AnySwap, Ethereum, and look what we have. We have Chainge, right? So Chainge is built on the Fusion layer 1, and this is what gives them a little bit of validity in the sense, right? The Fusion layer 1 is built for projects and built by the same team. It's Fusion team built a Chainge, and they built it custom for Fusion, which is good. Okay, let's move on. Let's continue with this website. What else do we have here? More frequently asked questions. We have this down here. Change token session. So yeah, the tokens are already in circulation. I would say that a good majority of them are already released, which is good. We're going to talk about that in a second. And there's a lot of ways that you can earn tokens, and of course we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a second. Does the team company have any allocation? No, they did it for fair launch. So essentially the team and the overall management does not have any tokens. Okay, so that is pretty good. It's all about to the general public. It's all released to the general public, and you can verify that on the blockchain. So if you go right here to CoinGecko, for example, and we go and search for Chainge, let's see, right here, Chainge, and you go to their Explorer, which is right here. Okay, you can see that you can see the scanner for the Fusion scanner, the official website. So this is legit. And then you go to holders, and then you can see here based on the holders that are holding the token, you can see that there's no one major account holding the majority. You can see that it's really, really nice and distributed. And you can see the null address. Okay, fine. Maxi holds about 9%. And then there's this wallet, and then Chainge Finance is the LP, liquidity pool 6%, and the LP, another LP 3%. But after that, very, very small wallets. Gate a little bit here, 2. So we know that Gate and Maxi are ones that right now have and hold some liquidity for trading. So this is at least a step in the right direction with regards to decentralization and transparency. So no sign of honeypots or anything like that right now. Really, really good so far. Okay, so let's continue going on. Let's see what else we can kind of dig up. I like doing this live with you guys because it does really get into the mindset on how I do my deep dives type of thing. How does Chainge in the company make money? It's all about fees, and that's all about fees. Let's move on. Fees. It's like any other bank. They want a little fee for every little transaction, and they make their money that way. Now, what's really cool is the fact that they take 25% of their profits and they buy back from the DEX and burn every quarter, which means at the end of the day, it's slightly deflationary, which is good. And the actual value of the token goes up for stakeholders based on that, burning. So guys, this is a good thing. This is a use case for the token as well, is to help it become deflationary and be burnt every so often. So which is good. Okay, so let's move on. Is there any other usage of the Chainge token? So right now, of course, they're still in their rollout. They're making progress. Of course, we know that. And later dates, there will be more use as the applications increase different, financial services. So basically, you get rewarded. You get exemptions. You get fee reductions. Very typical token utility. Honestly, very, very typical. We'll look at some of these more in a second. There's other parts of the website that have a little bit more detail. How to get Chainge tokens. Right now, this is slightly outdated. Okay, so before they were released to the open market, in order to engage communities and basically get those tokens out there, they basically wanted people to get involved in some little join the wait list get some referrals, earn points by doing this and building your profile, inputting your phone number. Every little thing that you did, you would get a few tokens, right? 30 tokens, 15 tokens, a few points, different things. And they had this whole thing, but this is outdated. This is no longer the case. Now, I'm not sure if you can still earn this way, but this is not the only way you can get your hands on the Chainge token. We already saw Gatelist has liquidity, and we have MEXC that has liquidity. And if you look at CoinGecko, those are the two exchanges where you can buy them. MEXC, Gate, and Buybox and Bittrex. I don't know. I wouldn't really trust, to be honest. MEXC is where I would be going if I were to be looking into accumulating a bit of this token. Okay, so let's continue. What else information we can find here? Which, mind you, those are small exchanges. MEXC's up and coming, doing very well lately, so we got to understand, but there's no heavyweights just yet, okay? Since the total Chainge token earned by the community, so this is interesting. This is outdated. Again, this is old, okay, in the sense that they were going to multiply basically 10 times the amount of tokens that were released pre-release. Let's put it this way. Before the actual project was released or launched, they were giving out tokens already. And what their strategy is just to multiply those amount of tokens by 10. And then they came out with their max supply, okay? Their overall supply that's going to be in circulation. And we'll talk about those tokenomics in a second. But if you look at their overall distribution, it's all about earning. This is the way you're going to get tokens in your wallet. So 15% of the supply, rewards. Let's just pick out the words rewards. Look, 5% of the total supply, rewards. 10% of the total supply, rewards. 30% rewards. 30% rewards. So everything has to do with rewards and being rewarded for being a part of the application, whether it be staking, this or that, holding, different little banking rewards overall. Okay, so do your due diligence. Go check that out. There's a lot of different ways that you can earn the token in itself, including like a savings account would, staking it up and leaving it there. And they have a cool, staking mechanism that allows you to have different tiers or levels of a timed locked liquidity. Basically, you lock up different your tokens on different time schedules and different things like that. So we'll see what we can find here on the website to give a little bit more detail. So this is a nice infographic giving you some more. How will the Fusion Network benefit from the Chainge app? Okay, we can understand at the end of the day, it's going to give you a lot of features and flexibilities and all of that. The time lock is something interesting that we got to talk about for a second. Okay, the foundation of the up-and-coming Internet of Value revolution. Okay, Fusion offers coded financial services at just a tap away. Great stuff. Slightly outdated. Go check out their socials, and yeah, we'll talk about socials in a second. Okay, what else do we got here, guys? Wow. Okay, so the website is okay so far. A lot of information going everywhere. Well, let's see what other tabs I got going on here for you guys. The token. Did we do this one already? This page, look, you can see how things get a little bit convoluted really quickly as soon as you introduce 3 different websites. You got the old one, you got the new one, and you got Medium, basically. Look at that. And there's more articles that you can kind of read. Okay, this is the white paper. I had to kind of dig around for this white paper. Honestly, I don't even remember where I found it. I stumbled upon it. Again, another sign of issue. And another issue that I have is that I can't rely on some of this data because it seems like everything is just outdated. Okay, so we'll do our best. What I really found interesting is this is talking about the utility of the token. Okay, so feel free to kind of like review all of this, but you can see that the overall supply after the calculation was made, remember, multiplying the amount of tokens that were issued pre-release or pre-launch by 10, and then they came up with this number, 81,467,000 change. Okay, CHNG is the ticker. That's the token. So once we have that number, we can start thinking about, okay, what happens? How are we going to be issuing? How are we going to be using this token to actually have an economy? Remember that the Chainge token, it uses Fusion blockchain. It's an FRC 758 token, and it uses that protocol, basically that framework. Okay, so something to consider. So quarterly burning 25% of the company profits. We talked about this. Chainge is used as a performance bond for escrow. Okay, more revenue being issuing of tokens, ensures voting privileges so that you can basically vote on certain things that are happening for Chainge Finance. And right now, I don't see it as a DAO. There's nothing on these white papers that are suggesting that this is a DAO, but they could potentially have just a third-party type of system that allows them to kind of give privileges to Chainge holders, which for me would be nice to see such a project built around the DAO framework, a decentralized autonomous organization, giving it a sense of decentralization to the next level. New call options, distribution from new projects for time frame. This is the time frame thing that they got going on. It's their own little, proprietary savings or staking mechanism. Chainge can be used as a universal gas for any chain application. So, it's just the main to run the network, and this is a very typical, very, very typical. Majority of the time you'll see a token is meant to drive transactions, reward staking, and voting privileges. That's basically what it is, and that's very, very typical, and so far pretty bulletproof right here. Okay, so pretty good. Chainge will use quarterly burning, and yeah, that's pretty much what you got. The wallet, and that's about it. Okay, so cross-chain aggregate, we talked about that a lot. The trilogy, the spot, the futures, the options, the time framings through earn. This is the thing that I wanted to kind of talk. Feel free to watch this video. It's pretty cool. It gives you an idea of what's going on, but really what it is the time frame function basically allows an individual to split into different periods, split their staking into different periods. For example, from one present time to 6 months, and from one present time, for example, now to infinity, forever. Like, you can keep it as long as you want. So basically, you can block off or split or section off your liquidity or your staking into different periods, and that is what people are, one of the value propositions. Another interesting aspect is your wealth earned while you have full control over your wealth, is that even if you have your tokens staked up, you still have access to your tokens. Guys, this is the biggest value proposition in my book that right now Chainge Finance has to offer. You're able to still take your tokens and put them in cold storage, even though you have them all staked up, and you could use them as you would normally. For me, that's an interesting thing, and how they do that is a mechanism that is proprietary to them. It is one of the common features that we're seeing in DeFi nowadays, is to allow individuals to stake on DEXs while still take full custody of their tokens. And not only that, you're able to kind of separate your time frames based on your on that staking. Guys, full control over your staking and your assets, and this is one of the things that they kind of stay here. You get to retain full control over your assets. Okay, so self-custody to the next level, and of course that's something that we've been talking about in the cross-chain API services. Look at all the chains, all the different little things from the API. Like, you can basically tap into their API services, like different information that you might be able, even if it's a read-only type of information or whatever the case is. You can see that there's a lot of things happening with regards to API. Decentralized escort service, decentralized perpetuals, time framing technology. This is their thing. This is where they kind of say, look, we're different because we have this feature. Quantum swaps, this is something that is up and coming for them. I think they don't have this really released just yet. There's a lot of these features that still need to be released. The magic button, your QR code, cool stuff here, guys. Go check it out, because again, you walk into, or you go visit your brother, your sister, your parents, whoever it is, your cousin, and you want to quickly do something with one another with regards to financing. You just pull out your QR code, boom, 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 things are happening. This is what we need: simplicity and security at the same time. And this is what they talk about, the multi-sig and the overall encryption and all of that stuff, and how this exactly works to give you a sense of comfort moving forward. So pretty good so far, honestly, pretty good. And let's kind of go back to that same website. Now, if we continue going, you can see the investors soon. You have a contact, your account, frequently asked questions. We went through that a little bit. Privacy, and that's about it. Now, if we go to the about. Is there an about page? Let's see if we can find that about. Referrals, amplify, change, frequent asked questions. No real about, as you can see, but I did do a little bit of digging. Okay, I did do a little bit of digging, and there's a section here that talks about right here about, let's see, talks about the founder and the co-founder and the team in a very vague scenario. Let's see if I can get what's going on here. Let's see if this website can open. There we go. Let's see what we got here. So, okay, answer. Who are the founders? This is a really interesting few lines right here. The sole founder is DJ Kwan. Okay, he's also the co-founder of AnySwap, which is part of the Fusion ecosystem. We saw that on that website, on the Fusion website. He's the founder of Fusion as well, and he's obviously the founder of Chainge Finance. So you can see the ecosystem has a lot to do with one founder, and it could be a good thing, but it's also a bit of a sign of centralization. But nonetheless, we know that the ecosystem is pretty much tailored to work together in a very seamless way because of its design and architecture by its founder, right? So that's one thing that you can kind of appreciate. The co-founder of VeChain, which we know VeChain is a big one. It's a good one. Okay, co-founder of Quantum, QTUM, and the CEO of Bitsy or BITCE. Okay, so this is all really good. A lot of experience can be seen, and he makes himself very known, and he's out there on social media, particularly X, and always showing face. So although he may excuse me, he may not be fully doxed, there's definitely a lot of information to obtain about who he is and where he comes from with regards to different projects and his experience within the blockchain community. Now, if you go to LinkedIn, we'll kind of get into the team here a little bit. As best as we can. They do have an account of Chainge Finance, and I like using LinkedIn because if you're a professional in any industry, LinkedIn is the place where you can kind of get some information. It shows you the level of transparency that you really want to achieve for your business in here, and at the end of the day, the employees that work there. So the about, you can see the links, so on, the Fusion Foundation, Caspa's there listed on the right because of course Caspa is now also part of the Chainge Finance available offerings. So that's interesting. And then people, if you click people, you can see that there are a few individuals here listed. You have the CPO, you have the CBO, the Chief Executive Officer, CEO, right? You got a lot of these, profiles are not open. You have to have some sort of link to them to be able to see them. But nonetheless, a bit of research, you can see that you can, somewhat get an idea of what these individuals are about and their experiences. So, somewhat docs, let's put it there on a somewhat docs, somewhat fully, you can get some info, definitely get some info if you're interested in what they're all about. And if you go on their X page, let's see if we can quickly do that to kind of see. You can see definitely that they do have, let me scroll down quick. You can see that they do have a bit of posts that show the actual co-founder speaking about various projects. Let's see, am I on the right one? This is Chainge Finance. Where is he? I saw a couple of them. Him hanging on. It's a lot of info, a lot of news that they are releasing, and given the fact that they don't have a very clear roadmap, this is at least they're doing their due diligence to keep the community informed about what they're doing and so on and so forth. So this is a good thing. Not bad, not bad. Now, guys, speaking of socials, okay, now the experience that I had with their other socials, because we rely a lot on Telegram and Discord nowadays when we want to know about a project. We want to know about, some of the ambiguities that we want to, kind of iron out. And guys, their Discord is weird. You have to actually connect a wallet to verify yourself, and that's something that's not really industry standard currently at the moment. I've been doing deep dives and logging on to various Discord servers from different projects, and I've never had to do that, and I don't want to do it. I may be putting my wallet at risk, and a lot of individuals are not interested in doing that. So this is something that we need to consider, is that if you want somebody to make themselves at home, you can't put such a barrier to entry to get involved on, to get on the Discord. And then if you go on the Telegram, it's almost like there's nobody there. There is nobody there. If you ask a question, there's nobody there from the team. There's nobody there from anybody. There's people complaining that they can't log in. There's people, complaining quite a bit, and there's no responses by anybody. And it's not a good sign. They need somebody there actively there helping and speaking and answering. I asked a ton of questions. I couldn't get any responses to my questions, which is problematic because, again, transparency and confidence is built by, looking for those details and understanding exactly what's happening. So far, so good. Okay, not bad. Another thing that I want to say about their socials while we're here is the fact that evidence has shown that there's a bit of manipulation with regards to their following. Now, again, I use a third-party software to give me that indication, and the third-party software is telling me that at any given point, they will increase their follower count by thousands, which is not organic, doesn't seem like organic follower count. That for me is a problem, right? Like, are they buying their followers? Are they bots? Who are they? Why do they have 160,000 followers? Okay, and if you look at their posts, you look at what they're doing, there's not much engagement on any of what they do. Like, this one is the most because, it's pinned. Okay, fine, who knows how long it was there. But if you continue, and let's see, we can probably see October 31st, so it's not bad. Now, 2022, okay, that's been there for about a year, and it only got 900 likes, okay? And then if you keep on going, like October 20, you got 144 and 62, and you look at all their engagement here, given the fact that they have over 160,000 followers, you're looking at there's not much engagement here, which also gives me that indication that they're buying their followers, unfortunately. Okay, so this is a sign that they're struggling from a perspective of trying to keep themselves looking fresh and hot. And guys, just to be clear, a lot of projects are dealing with this, and I'm noticing in the last few deep dives, I'm noticing a similar consistent trend of seeing a bit of manipulation with regards to their follower count. So guys, feel free to join, look into some of those metrics yourself. There's a lot of third-party softwares, paid and unpaid. I use a paid software that kind of has been doing me right recently. So yeah, I don't know, I'm not really keen about that. I'm not really keen. I like to see real organic engagement, and when I don't see it, it leads me to believe that they're struggling, and it's a sign of weakness. Okay, so let's move on. A little bit more there. Change of business model. Okay, service fees. What feature will the app have? Okay, we're gonna see a little bit more as time progresses. Be out when? Who knows? Who knows? Bugs. Of course, they wait to have all the bugs ironed out before they do it. Again, how many points? This is all slightly outdated stuff because this pointing system is not even talked about anymore. The referral friend. Again, I don't know if they're still offering tokens for referrals and all of that. The airdrop, that's already gone. Long gone. I love Chainge, how to get involved, accumulate. So a lot of information, like you gotta kind of put a filter through this. Okay, guys, so I think we covered quite a bit. We talked about the team, we talked about the socials. Now what about and the distribution? Let's talk about some of this tokenomics. Okay, now one thing that I want to be clear on is CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. All of this is incorrect. It's not right. The circulating supply is not right. The max supply is okay. The total supply, I don't know where they got this number from. This is the problem now with a lot of the lower cap new projects, is a lot of the data is not accurate on these crypto, let's call them listing websites, both CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. So what the best thing to do, and a lot of times, is go check the Explorer page, and you're going to see that circulating supply right now is at about 570 million tokens, okay, which is slightly higher than what was listed on CoinGecko, and you can see the total supply being 115 million, more or less. Okay, so these are true metrics based on the scanner. Okay, so I had to kind of go by these metrics, not by the metrics that are here, but nonetheless, there's some information that we can kind of take from it. Okay, like maybe trading volume, and we have to take this all with a grain of salt because, again, we are not 100% sure that this is accurate. Okay, so all this is potential, manipulated or outdated, whatever the case may be. Okay, so guys, as usual, I do release a infographic that we can kind of go run by. Let's see what that's telling us. So my overall overview is this: Chainge Finance is looking really great. We know that DeFi right now, there's a lot of competition in DeFi. A lot of individuals, a lot of projects are coming out trying to find solutions to our traditional banking needs, which is very necessary. As we see more capital enter the crypto space, we need those features to feel like we can put our money to work. And that is something that, I'm anticipating some more growth in the up and coming bull run. Traditional DeFi, let's call it banking DeFi, because decentralized finance, in my book, kind of got stuck at the DEX narrative in the previous bull run, which still has a lot of room for update and growth. But the DeFi aspect, as far as banking goes, is kind of untouched. There are some projects out there, one of which, I think it's called Nexo. We're going to talk about this in a minute. But, there's a little bit of room for growth, which means within that narrative in itself, or that category, especially the ones that, if you look at the categories on CoinGecko, you can look at the categories. If you look at banking, there's not much really happening there, which means that, Chainge Finance does have an opportunity, does have a gap to fill and a spot within that narrative to basically flourish. And that's important. It's getting not in a very saturated market. Now, it's lucky that it offers more than just DEX options, as an aggregate, because we have 1inch, we have many projects that are doing very similar things, and projects that have been around for a while that are bringing cross-chain trading to their users, right? So this is something really, really interesting. And of course, they have other features that make banking a little easier. Okay, so let's look at the coin info for a second. As of yesterday, the price was at about 6.9 cents, almost 7 cents. The market cap is at about, let's say, 40 million, very small cap, nothing huge. Like I said, a lot of growth potential still. Trading volume very low, extremely low, guys. It's not even a percent. I look for at least 10%. 10 to 50% is a nice area to see an active, community, an active amount of liquidity to both enter and exit the market. So I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is that, of course, if you look at the exchanges where this is listed on, you're looking at MEXC and Gate, and how much liquidity do they really offer and have. You can check the scanner, but it's not much, and you're seeing that the trading volume is not there. If anything, right now you should be focusing on the concept of maybe becoming a holder, and don't expect to exit and enter very quickly, because you're not going to have the liquidity or the speed to fill or even offload your bags. And it's it's something to consider, right? Trading volume, I like to keep that as a metric in my back pocket. Supply, 70% of it is already in circulation. They've been distributing it based on the distribution that we talked about. At the end of the day, a lot of it is being distributed via rewards. Okay, and it's going to be continued, distribution as rewards as people interact with the ecosystem or the actual application and use their financial services. You'll get rewarded through the staking rewards and so on and so forth, as we mentioned in the past in those details. Go check those out. Now, the max supply, it's give or take 114.6 million units of change that are going to be in circulation, and it is fully diluted. Price right now is about 56.8 million, which is still very, very small, given the fact that this project is in this current phase, and it didn't really touch our bull run yet. It was released at the end of the previous bull run. To be honest, when we almost hit rock bottom in the bear market, that's when they released it. And all it has ever experienced is bear market price action. And given the fact, when you look at the charts, which we will do in a second, you'll see that the price has yet to actually make any major peaks or valleys. So right now, it's definitely in an accumulation phase as the general market is there. So are we here looking at a project in a very young phase in its life cycle? It could be very possible. Okay, let's zoom out and kind of look at what's going on here. Ecosystem, it is part of the Fusion ecosystem, as we mentioned. It is an up-and-coming ecosystem. The ecosystem is still very small. They have AnySwap and many other contributors to the ecosystem. Please don't get mistaken that there's Ethereum there on their website and a Chainlink as an oracle, but they're not dedicated contributors to their ecosystem. They're there as facilitators to improve their ecosystem. Okay, AnySwap and Fusion, and in this case Chainge, are all part of the same ecosystem. Very interesting. I like it. It looks good. They're all about finance, and we know Fusion is designed for that type of narrative. So let's see where it goes on forward here. Utility burning, of course, gas fees to drive the network, and voting privileges and rewards. The very typical bang on type of utility. No ambiguity, no fudge, nothing in the middle to kind of make you feel like there's a bit of ambiguity. There's no ambiguity here, so good. 10 out of 10 for that. Roadmap, a little vague, a little bit more detail, a few dates or even ranges or for expectations would be great. At least the team is active on Twitter trying to keep us up to date. I would have loved to see a little bit more as far as the roadmap goes, but this is where a lot of the times teams are choosing not to commit to times, because if they don't make it, they see a lot of fluctuation in FUD nonetheless. All right, the team, decent team. I would have liked a little bit more transparency of who's involved and a bit more doxed, but we know that DJ Kwan is definitely one of those individuals that has been around the space and has a lot of experience there, so that's a good positive thing. And if you go on LinkedIn, you can see some of the team members, all the developers and things like that, and you can definitely get into a little bit more detail if you're granted access to see some of their previous experiences. But they should be open. What I would like to see is all their profiles open. They should have a page on their website so that we can see a fully doxed team. Okay, socials. This is where I've kind of felt a little iffy, and I think I was a bit generous here. I like the fact that their followers are decent. They have a good amount of followers, fine, but at the end of the day, they've been coming down in the last little while significantly. 1.8 thousand followers lost in the last 30 days in comparison to the previous days. It's about 156% down, so not really good in comparison to the previous month or the last 30 days. Not really good, but we do see a bit of a decrease also with the amount of posts that they're issuing on X. And then a sign of manipulation, which I don't like, which we see a lot of followers being increased or joining like within a day, thousands of followers in one day, 1,000, 1,500 in a day. That for me is a sign of manipulation, right? A sign of manipulation. All of a sudden, a spike in following out of nowhere, randomly, and then dropping and like just a lot of different non-consistent, non-organic metrics there. So for me, that's problematic. And also thing that I want to say is there are other socials where they can actually get involved with the community is lacking. Their Discord is not accessible by majority because you need to connect a wallet, and not a lot of people are interested in connecting wallets to third-party decentralized applications like Discord. And the Telegram is pretty much dead space. There's nothing there. Nobody is representing the team. You can ask questions and all day long and no one will respond, and that for me is problematic. Okay, tokenomics, very typical tokenomics, really good. Nothing else to be said there. The remaining 30% of the supply most likely will be distributed using their typical distribution, which we already talked about, and most of it is comprised by being reward. It was a fair launch, and the team nor the company hold tokens. Very, very important, because no risk of a rug pull or anything like that. So really good. And given that it's part of the finance narrative or the banking narrative, you kind of want to have this level of trust to back it up. Okay, so tokenomics, decent, 10 out of 10 there. Partnerships, no real major partnerships that are strategic. I look for strategic partnerships. If you're going to put Chainlink as a partner, for example, that's not a partner. You're using them to benefit your project, let's say. So when I look for partnerships and you're telling me Kaspa is a partner, Kaspa is not a partner. Kaspa would be an individual, a chain that you are now you're listing. It's not a partner. We look for partners. We look for strategic partnerships that are going to scaffold the project to the next level. Let's say, just as a basic example, let's say an AI. Like say that they were going to get involved with an AI project to introduce certain AI features to this banking scenario, to maybe as a customer service base. If individuals have questions, AI will answer your question. That would improve the base model of their value proposition, not those partnerships that basically saying, I was was mentioned on this website, so they're my partner all of a sudden. That is not a partnership. We need strategic partners. And if they had strategic partners, trust me, it would be plastered all over their website. And it's not. You got to dig around, and that's a problematic thing. Okay, so for me, partnerships are very important. It's a sign of potential manipulation. And I don't see anything, so I'm not saying that they're manipulating, but I see a little bit of, references to projects that are not really strategic. So let's keep it at that for now. They're still young, and let's see what they come up with. Exchanges, MEXC and Gate. Gate, low liquidity. MEXC is up and coming. You're relying a majority of the liquidity on Gate, and it's still a very small amount. Guys, this is, a sign of a potential opportunity or a disadvantage. Both opportunity-wise, if it gets listed on a major exchange, you're going to see a lot of volume and interest. And from a not so good idea is the fact that low liquidity, if you want to enter and exit, to get your bags filled or maybe your bags offloaded, it'll be a bit difficult given that you're going to rely on the volume that is only available on MEXC and Gate. Okay, so these are all things to consider. All really good ideas, all really good things. Some side notes just to recap. It is a layer 1. Let me see what I got going on here. It is a layer 1. Okay, as a layer 1, the layer 1, sorry guys, let me see if I can scooch this over for you. As a layer 1, you're seeing it is built on the Fusion, Fusion network, decentralized finance, big narrative going forward. We know that this is something that a lot of us are interested in, trying to see how we can completely decentralize not only the DEX, but the financing or the banking features altogether. Strong value proposition, independent banking. Website needs updating, and that's a typo there. White paper, what's going on there? A little bit, updating is definitely necessary. Somewhat docs team, good. I like fully docs teams, but it's not bad. Somewhat docs, you can get a lot of information on them. With a little bit of research, you can get a bit of an understanding what they're about. Strong team with lots of experience. Hard to find white paper. Again, Discord requires you to connect a wallet. I'm not interested in that. Telegram has no community. We mentioned X following looks manipulated. Fusion is proprietary tech that is specifically used for Chainge, which again, it seems like Fusion is directly custom made for financial applications, which is nice. New website seems incomplete with too many links to Medium and missing information. Old website has a lot but is outdated. And then down straight to my overall target. Guys, let me explain this for a second. My target, I use Nexo because Nexo is right now at about $300 million market cap. Now I thought, okay, let's look at the DEXs. And then I look at DEXs that relate, that offer, an aggregate, let's say like a 1 inch or something like that. They're also right around that $300 million market cap. So I'm like, forget that. Let's look at Nexo. Nexo is one of those projects that were around in the previous bull run, whereas a lot of these DEX aggregates were not, and they came out towards the end, and we don't really know where they would have peaked in the previous bull run. But Nexo, we can kind of see that. Nexo, to match Nexo's current market cap, it would take them a 10x. Chainge will be able to get to about a 10x just to meet the current market cap of Nexo. But what about if we compared Nexo's market cap in the bull run? Where would Chainge be able to go? It would probably reach that $4.45 level, 63x, just getting to a $2 billion market cap, which is what Nexo was able to achieve in the previous bull run. And remind you, Nexo offers some banking features, nowhere near as many as Chainge Finance. Chainge Finance offers a huge amount of various financial services, including DEXs, whereas Nexo, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't offer that. So it's hard to really make a comparison when you're basically a jack of all trades. You're offering a value proposition that no one really has, right? Because you're offering something that is like, encompasses so much, is very broad, which is a bullish thing, no doubt. But when you're trying to compare to other projects and what it could do, it's very difficult. So let's stick with Nexo. Let's say even if with Nexo. Now, what about if and when we pass the previous total market cap of the previous bull run, which should take us to above a $3 trillion market cap, total market cap, which means that Nexo or even Chainge will exceed the 63x from where we're targeting right now. So maybe above $5 to $6 is very, very possible. Now, I give it this project a decent rating, given the fact that it's trying to tackle some really important concepts, some really important narratives and value propositions that we're looking for, which is the decentralizing of banking. But still, it's still very young, and it still needs to kind of prove itself. So let's see what happens. Okay, so guys, of course, we're going to take a look at some charts. Let's see what's going on here. I know you want to take a look at charts, so let's begin. Let's see what's going on with this price action. As you can see, that it's pretty much going sideways since its conception. Going sideways, nothing to be said as far as any major peaks and valleys. Right now, we're looking at this. It looks like nice tops and nice bottoms, but if you zoom out, really, it hasn't really gotten its true time to shine. And what I'm seeing is this pullback being really deep, and we have a bit of a few volume gaps here at the bottom of the range, one gap right into here, one gap right into here, which means it's very likely that we start looking for support and resistance right around these levels in the future. Now, we are currently at the top of this volume gap, very clearly at the top, and we're currently trying desperately to stay above it. We kind of peaked right into it, which happens frequently, happens all the time, based on a few liquidations or whatever the case may be. We see impulses to the downside, and you can see it's desperately trying to stay above. The next area to watch out for is here, but then below we got another level of empty price action with a few spikes in between. This is why I don't like this type of price action, is because you got a lot of chop. Are we going to get support here? Are we going to get support here? Anywhere within this chop action we can, but for certainty, right down here, you can see that this begins the most important level of price action ever. So if we happen to get down to this level, there's a bit of confidence that you need to have, especially with regards to fundamentals. We talked about fundamentals already. Does it look good? Yes, everything looks okay. Of course, it's a new project. Anything can happen. Obviously, there's risk with any project here in crypto land, but based on what we've talked about, it looks decent. And if you get to the point where the price gets to about 4.8 cents right down here at the bottom, this would be your best risk to reward ratio opportunity. Okay, and given the fact that we have this previous low, the previous low is the low to watch out for. Why? Because if we break below, we're making lower lows, and it's not looking good. And the fact that maybe this high wasn't as high as the previous high doesn't look good either, right? Somewhat of a double top, fine, but it's still a lower high based on all this price action. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Now, before I kind of go further, let's look at this retracement to get an idea of what type of retracement it is. Let's do our Fibonacci's, swing low to swing high, more or less. We're falling below the golden pocket 618. We are potentially looking for support at the 786 and maybe the 886, which is at the point of control down around here. So I'm liking this area if we can get down here, right? Now, we do have other volume gaps that we got to see. Now, this one is very nice. Like, I like this one. Look how clean this volume gap is. Okay, we got to make sure that we understand that when you see a volume gap with a bit of, look at that, look at the volume. Let me show you what I mean. Look at the volume profile right here. Empty, nice clear box or empty cave here to actually see that the price action, if it does get there, we can snap from here to here without much resistance, right? But below we got a lot of chop action, right? This chop action can kind of like get people wrecked. We come down, get bounces up and down until we get an accumulation. So what am I looking at here? Let me get some arrows in here. You guys know that I put my green and red arrows on the chart to keep my strategy accountable. I like this level. If we can get down here, I'm interested. Okay, this for me would be a buy opportunity for sure, and I would like to see it hold above this level. Now down here where we are, I'm interested as well, but I'm not getting in too heavy. Okay, down here at the bottom of the gap is not bad, and where we are right now, testing this level, if we get some support, it's not bad. We'll look at momentum in a second to see if we can, hunt down a nice shift. And then if you look at where we are potentially could go, if we come down and test previous lows, this is the last line in the sand here, guys, right? This is where your risk to reward ratio is absolutely the healthiest, because really you can put a stop loss right underneath here. So all within this range is a decent zone to look into, but I think that we're still a little bit high. Now let's look at the momentum for a second to suggest whether we are done. You can see the impulsive move to the downside is right now getting a bit of a back test. The MACD, the RSI, sorry, is getting a bit of a pullback with regards to momentum, you know, trying to marry up again with the yellow moving average here. The actual RSI is pushing up, getting a bit of a rejection, you can see, but ultimately I'm expecting the momentum to get oversold. Once it gets oversold on the daily, it starts to interest me, right? I start to look for opportunities to scale in. So let the daily get into oversold conditions, and then we'll see what kind of horizontal support we were able to obtain. If we obtain this level, great, we'll DCA. No problem. If we obtain right here, if we get support right here, when it gets oversold, we'll DCA. Right now, I still feel based on the daily, it's very risky to DCA. Right now, we are potentially looking for a confirmation low, a higher low. That's the truth. Don't expect it to actually make a lower low. It doesn't have to. In fact, it could stay within range, at least a double bottom. But what we really are looking for is what kind of low are we going to get? We want a break of trend, a break of structure, and some sort of strong sign of bullish divergence. Okay. Now the price action is definitely coming down. We can see that, and the momentum based on where right here to right here is getting a bit of a pop to the upside, and you can see momentum right now, lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the RSI. This is class A bullish divergence. Now if we do come down even further and the RSI gets fully reset, you're invalidating the bullish divergence and it's done. So you know, this is what we're kind of waiting for. And to be honest, it's kind of early to expect this bullish divergence. I'm wondering what the 4 hour is showing us. We'll get a quick look at the 4 hour. Right now, you can see that the MACD, no EMA cross just yet. Red histogram bars are still there. Yes, they're getting into that pale pink phase, but nothing just yet. Could we get a bit of a fake out? Could we get a bit, you know, whipsaw price action? It's very possible. I like to see an EMA cross and at least one little green histogram bar being formed before I get, you know, a bit bullish here on the MACD. Okay, so far not bad. You know, the retracement is okay. It's falling below that golden pocket. So right around this area is where you should start considering, you know, getting into a bullish stance. On the 4 hour, it's not bad. You can see that all this price action right now, we're getting follow through. The momentum is trying to get oversold. So in the 4 hour, I'm expecting a bit of a pop to the upside. Now, does it mean that we're going to make all-time highs? I don't think so. I think that if you're going to go based on the 4 hour, I would expect a pop as high as anywhere within these volume gaps could actually get rejected right about here. I personally don't like this long position on the 4 hour because you got a lot of supply and demand here to act as resistance. We got to break above this previous high to break a structure. And then what about this high? We got another high here to break structure. What about these highs? We got another highs to break structure. So you can see what I mean by all the volume profile not really giving us a clean break so that we can find empty spot to run. But look at this. If we break above the 9.3 cent level, we got a clean break. This is what I like, but we're far away from it. So this is the thing here now, guys. For me, it's about exposure. Going into a fresh long right now with a lot of exposure, a huge position size is a bit scary. It's a bit risky because I feel like based on the daily, we should be looking for oversold conditions. The 4 hours not even giving me a quick confirmation. I would like some sort of W's. I would like a better sign of bullish divergence with more data before I get convinced that we're done here and we're not dipping down even further. So wait for that little bit of data. Once we see that the oversold conditions could be met here on the daily, I would start scaling in. And again, the 786 to 886, all within these zones are pretty good. And I just put this green arrow just to let you know that at the end of the day, this level is the last line in the sand where you might be considering to buy a bit of a dip and then just stop, because below you're in price discovery. We don't know how low we're gonna go, and then all of a sudden, you know, who knows? Like honestly, you're in price discovery. There's no real indication where we're gonna hold support at that level, and you don't want to be there. Now we're a bit far away from there. I would say it's above, again, below 65% to the bottom. So there's still a little bit of work. So wait for that data. We might get into a consolidation period before we get a continuation. And as soon as we start getting signs of a bottom, guys, join the Discord, join the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action, guys, because that is a great time and place to get updates alongside all the moves that Chainge could be doing in the immediate short term. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a huge favor and slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. And of of course, guys, the links are in the description regarding all those socials. And 7:30 Eastern tonight. I'll see you then. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.